Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we're going to be building our own zip extractor, just like WinRAR, and we're going to call it archive, and we can extract or compress files. We're going to be using ElectronJS, ElectronForge React JS, TypeScript, and DaisyUI, and yeah, this is the app that we are going to be building in this tutorial. So let's test it out. As I've said, we can extract and also compress files. Now let's select to extract a zip or tar file. Let's select let's select this zip file first. This is the content of the zip file, and it also has a static folder. And now we can either extract or select the files that we want to extract. Now let's remove this OFL. Let's remove what else? Let's just remove that OFL, then extract selected, or let's remove the readme too. Then extract selected, then selected, extract. It's going to save inside the archive. Save. Then after saving, it's going to automatically open the file that we just extracted. It's going to open it in the it's going to open the directory automatically in the native file explorer. Now let's check it out. We named it selected extract. As you can see, these items that we omitted, that we removed, are not in the destination extract, are not present in this extract. Now let's check the extract all. Then it's going to save inside the archives. Then save, all extracts. Then as you can see, everything including the OFL and readme that we omitted was added. Then also the static also. The static, we can also let's remove this gaze monolight. Let's name it that. Second selected. Then the things that we omitted here are not present, and also you see that there's no gaze of this thing that we omitted. They are not present. The gaze monolight, gaze monoblack, they are not present. Now when we are done, we can just cancel, and then we'll be able to do it all over again. Then now this is compress. We can either compress a directory or a single file, and we can compress a tar file, gzip, tgz, or a zip file. Now let's try a zip file first. I'm going to be using this Google font. As you can see, currently this is the content of the Google font. This is the content of the Google font. Now let's open it. We selected this static directory instead of this. Okay, wait, let's extract. Let's use this. Let's compress this all extract. Let's compress it. Open. Then this is the content of the directory that we want to compress. Now we can select the ones that we don't want to compress along with other files. Like we've unchecked this, and unchecked this .ts store. Now compress selected. Then selected, compressed. Then let's just save it in the archive. Then save. After saving, after compressing it to zip, it's also going to automatically open it. This is it. It has been compressed to zip, and selected, compressed. Now if we open it, you see that all the things that we omitted are absent. Yeah, yeah. And let's do a all compress all compress archives. Yes, then this is going to be all compressed. As you can see, everything is present. Yeah. And let's cancel. Then let's try to compress to gz. No, not gz, sorry, not gz. Let's compress to tar gz. All compressed. Let's just compress all. Then tar all compressed. Let's save it inside the archive. Yeah, as you can see, tar.gz. And we can also, as you can see, the type of the file is a gz, and we can also extract it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything is present. Yeah. You can also do it for other types too. The tar, gzip, tgz, and zip file. Now let's compress just a single file. Let's open any file. Then this ofl.txt, let's compress it. Yeah, this is the file that we are trying to compress now. Then compress single file compress, then archive, then save single file compress .zip. Yeah, and if we've extracted it, as you can see, the OFL was extracted. Yeah, this is what we are going to be building in this tutorial, and this software is very useful. It's very useful, and it gives us the choice of selecting the files that we want to be extracted and the files that we don't want to be present in the extracted folder. Then also the same thing goes to the compress too. You can also choose the files that you want to be compressed and the files that you don't want to be present in the compressed file. Yeah, and you can also compress a single and multiple files, and there are also four types of files that you can compress to. Yeah, and let's try to extract a tar.gz file. Let's extract this. It's a very large file. It is 55 or 0.7 megabytes, and it has a lot of files, so it's also going to take time to load. Then this is everything. And it will first of all load the first 50 items. Then after scrolling to the end, it's going to automatically fetch the next 50, and so on and so on and so on. It has a lot of data. It has lots of data, like around 3,000 or 4,000. And you can also select the ones that you don't want or something like that. Yeah. Now let's just extract all. Let's give it a name. Large file extract. Then save. Here it's going to show that it is extracting here. Though it's going to take some time, but at least we will know that it is extracting. Yeah, it has finished extracting, and this is it. G-Cloud SDK, and it contains all files. Yeah, this is what we are going to be doing in this tutorial. Before we move on, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It motivates me to do more tutorials like this. Yeah, let's go on. We are going to be using ElectronForge, TypeScript, and React, and we are going to be using the Vite plus TypeScript template of ElectronForge. The reason why we are using ElectronForge is because it makes working with React JS and TypeScript in ElectronJS easier, because it has pre-configured configurations, and you don't need to be configuring the React.js and TypeScript from the scratch, and it also makes it easier when you are bundling your application for production. Yeah. Now let's start by installing our app by running this command here. So I'm going to open the terminal and just paste it here. So we are going to be using the Vite TypeScript template. Then let's call it archive. Yes, that's what we are going to be calling it. Then while that is installing, let me talk about the folder that I have here. I have a folder here that contains like a zip file and a tar file, tar.gz file, and then a folder that contains images and my resume, which is a PDF file. Yeah, this folder we are going to be using it to test for compression, and these are going to be used for Decompress tests. Yeah, then while it is installing, let's talk about other things that we are going to be using. We are going to be using TailwindCSS, Decompress library, Adm-Zip library, and compressing library. Then we are also going to be using DaisyUI, so that we are not going to be building components from scratch. Yeah, so I'm just going to pause the tutorial and resume it after the dependencies has finished installing. Yeah, the dependencies has finished installing. Now let's move into the directory. Yeah, then open it in VS Code. Yeah, next let's quickly set up TailwindCSS. And to set up TailwindCSS, we are going to install the Vite configuration. Let's install this. Then while that is installing, let's do this configuration quickly. So we are going to go to the vite.renderer.config.ts because we are using Vite in this tutorial. Then we just need to let's add TS signal. Then this plugin. Yeah. Then now next, or the last thing is import TailwindCSS. Okay, let's move to the src, then the index.css. Padding 0 pixel, margin 0 pixel. Yeah, that is all for the configuration. Next, let's finish the React JS configuration. Because we are using TypeScript, we are going to be using the React with TypeScript. All we just have to do is to install this. Let's install it. Then after, we are going to create app.tsx. Inside the src, let's create a new file called app.tsx. Then let's just paste this here. Next, it is giving us error. Now let's set the JSX flag in our TypeScript. JSX React JSX. Then that error is going to be fixed. Then we need one file. Or let's just create a new folder called component. Then let's move this. Yeah. Then last thing is let's import this app.tsx in the renderer.ts app. Yeah, that's all for React.js configuration. Next is let's install TailwindCSS. Okay, sorry, we've installed TailwindCSS already. Let's install these dependencies. npm install Decompress Adm-Zip, then compressing. Yeah. Then last thing is we're going to install DaisyUI. Yeah. Next, let us add this below the Tailwind CSS import right here. Yeah, that's all. Then there's one more thing. Let's just duplicate this terminal. This is going to cause error. This Tailwind CSS Vite that we added here is going to cause error because it requires this file to be a module. So we're going to change it to m.mts. Then let's go to forge.config. Then let's make sure this name matches this name that is there, the new file name. Yeah. Next, let's open the app. npm start. Then yeah, let's just do some things. React. Then Steve. Yeah. Let's give it 100 vh. Yeah. Then just for testing, let's give it pg red 500. Then don't let us forget to replace this with the main component. Yeah. Yeah. Then let's remove this. Then let's change this to archive, the name of our app. Yep. Now this shows that Tailwind CSS is working. Next, let's come to DaisyUI, the tab. Let's go to the tab. Yeah. Let's copy this, then paste it inside this place. Yeah, tab 1, tab 2. We just need only 2 tabs. Yeah, cool. Time to debug why. Okay, then this needs to be h, or I just give it style, then remove this. Yeah, cool. The reason why the background color is this color is because DaisyUI automatically sets the theme of the app to dark mode using the system's color mode. That's why it is dark. If I switch it to light mode, it's going to automatically switch to, you can try it out. If I switch it to light mode, as you can see, it changed to light mode. Yeah. Now, next is, let's just change this to the area label to extract, compress. Yeah. Extract, compress. Yeah. Now, let's work on the extract first. Div. Then this is going to be then flex items center, justify center. Then just for testing, let's give it a background color, red background color. Yeah, cool. Now we need a button. Yeah. Let's check the neutral. Okay. Just give it a neutral or primary. No, sorry, neutral. Neutral. Then open folder. Okay, the default checked should be this. Yeah. Now let's remove the background color. Yeah. Now let's change this to cursor pointer. Okay, cursor pointer important. Okay, let's just forget about that. Let's move on. Next is if you are new to ElectronJS, you can watch my tutorial on ElectronJS, either the vanilla ElectronJS or the ElectronJS with React JS that I taught on my YouTube channel. And there I spoke more about the renderer process and the main process, in which we are not going to be going in depth into in this tutorial, but briefly, let me explain briefly. The ElectronJS consists of two processes, the main process and the renderer process. The renderer process is the web part, this part, or the UI part, which is this part, and the main process, which is the part that you don't see, or which can also be referred to as the server side part, in which the code that interacts with directly with the operating system resides here. And this is the main process. The main process consists of all this code, including the code for the browser window that creates the browser window. Yeah. Then the render process. This is the renderer process in which we imported the React.js app into. Yeah. Then there is something important that that I need to point out is that the renderer process cannot access the APIs, the system APIs that the main process can access, and the main process cannot access the browser APIs. That is for maximum security. Now, the both of them needs to communicate. How do they communicate? They communicate using the preload, the preload and the IPC, which is the interprocess communication or communicator or whatever. Yeah, and the renderer process has its own IPC, and the main process also has its own IPC. Now let's go straight into the IPC communication in the preload.ts. So I'm going to call this renderer. Then any object, anything we include inside this renderer is not just going to automatically work out of the box just because we are writing it inside this preload.ts. No, we need to expose it using the context bridge. Dot expose in main word. It has 3 methods, but we are only going to be using this expose in main word in this tutorial. Then the API that you want it to be exposed on, you can call it anything, but let's just call it Electron. Then passing the object, which is the renderer. You can just pass in this object directly inside this place, but for more readability, let's pass it here. Yeah. Then next is we need to because we need to be able to access this Electron, this thing that we entered here. We need to be able to access it using window.electron this way. But as you can see, even the text editor is already giving us error that it does not exist. Now, to make this type exist on the global window object, we need to create a type called global.d.cs. Then declare global interface window. Then let's add Electron, which is just this thing, the name that we added here. If you added any other name, it is this name that you are going to include. Make sure there's no space between the name that you added here, Electron. Then go to the global.d.ts. Then one more thing, because we are using TypeScript, that is why we are doing all this. We need to export type t renderer equals type of renderer. Yeah, renderer. Yeah, that's all. Next is, now we can now communicate from the main process to the from the renderer process to the main process. This part is also the renderer process, is also part of the renderer process. And the preload can also access some few APIs that the main process can access. And this part has access to the window objects. Yeah. Now, after clicking that button, we need to select dialog, open select folder dialog. So we need to select the folder that we want to extract. We need to select select archive dialog. We need to select, open the dialog to select the archive that we want to extract its content. Now we are going to be using IPC renderer, then .send. Now the IPC renderer has some methods. It has the send, then send sync, which we don't need here, and then it has this on and ons. The IPC renderer can also listen for events from the main process using the on or ons. Then it can also emit events. If you are listening to any event within this file, you can emit that event from within the main process. You can emit that event within the renderer process, and we're not going to go in depth into that in this tutorial. And it also has invoke, which is used for listening for promise events. We are going to see it later in this tutorial, but for now we only need the send, which we can call the event or channel any name. You can pass in any name. Open select archive dialog. Then you can also pass in any arg. Now any arg, you can pass in any primitive data type here, like numbers, strings, array, and objects, but you cannot pass in non-primitive data types. I hope I'm saying the right thing, like functions, class, and those kind of things. You can also pass in like base64, binary, and whatever. Yeah, but we don't need to pass in anything. Now let's copy that, then go to main process. Now you can listen for the events anywhere inside this main process. So we're going to IPC main. The IPC main is for the main process, then dot on. It also has its own methods, the on and do, like the emit also. The on is for listening for events that was broadcasted using the send method. Then it has the undo. This undo is used for listening for events that was sent using the invoke method. We might see it later in this tutorial, but for now let's use the on. Yeah. Then event is going to inherit event. Then if you passed in any argument, it's going to be available here. Yeah. Now const archive, then that's now going to be dialog. Let's open the dialog. Dot. Note that this dialog that I entered here, it has been automatically imported above here. Dialog dot show open dialog. Then we need to pass in the browser window, because there are some when your application is robust and big, you might have like multiple windows that is opened. So we don't want to pass in just this main window, just this browser window here. We don't want to pass it in. So we want to pass in the browser window that sent this request. So we are going to do it browser window dot from web content. Then we are going to access the web content from this event, which is sender. The sender is a web content, as you can see, web content. Yeah. Then now options. Filters. No, it's not filters. Yeah, I think it's filters. There's no filters. Okay, sorry, it's properties. then open file. We only want to select file because the archives are files, they are not folders. Then now we need to filter the kind of files that we can select. Filters, then that's going to be an array of objects. Extensions, tar file, then file that ends with gz, then also zip files, then name, let's just call them archive files. Now show open dialog, this is promise, but we can do it in the sync way. This sync is just going to block the event loop, or sorry, is it the event loop or the main process? Is going to block the main process. That's what I can remember now. It's going to block the main process. Oh, sorry, it's going to block the main thread. Yes, it is the main thread. It's going to block the main thread until whatever we are doing inside this, until the dialog closes here. If if the cancel button was not clicked, the archive is going to contain the file that we selected as an array. Yeah, you can also print it out, console.log archive, the first item. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to do that. It's going to do that. Yeah. Now we need to check for if it ends with tar, then we need to use, if it ends with tar or gz, or if it ends with gz, we need to use let's go back to the browser. Decompress. We need to use decompress. We need to use decompress. Now I think we need to install a type. Yeah. Then decompress. Now first of all, we need to list out the content of the archive, so that we can select the things that we want to extract, the content we want to extract, or other things, or just preview the content first before extracting them for an improved user experience. Yeah, that is why we are using decompress. This library is going to be the one doing the main thing. No, it's not going to be the one that is doing the main thing. It's just going to be handling the compression. Yes. So sorry about that. Yeah. Then now decompress const archive content, decompress. Then let's pass in the file. Yeah. Now it is a promise. We need to await it. Now because of that, let's make it an async. Yeah. We can also log. Sorry. Yeah. Now after this, we need to return. We need to send this content back to the front end, but it's not every content we need to send. let's just send because it's going to be an array, so we can just let's make this okay yeah content dot path. Let's only return the content dot path. Okay, yeah, cool. Now let's send it back to the to the renderer process of the browser window that sent the event. How do we do that? It's simple. It's just events. We are going to be using the web content of the browser window process that sent the event, that sent this IPC event. So we're going to be doing the sender dot this is going to broadcast an IPC event back to the renderer process, and we can just call it archive data events. Then let's pass in the name of the file. No, file path. It's just going to be this. Then content is going to be paths. Yeah. Now, how do we now get or listing for this event in the renderer process? Let's go back to the preload.ts. Outside, okay, somewhere around there or before the renderer process. I love to do it before the renderer process. So it's going to be IPC renderer dot on archive, then events, then data that was sent. Yeah. Now, we can just log got data from main process. Data is going to be data. Yeah. Now, this there's another issue now is this preload.ts. It is not under the React context, so it cannot access anything in React.js, any APIs, any React.js APIs. It cannot access it. Now, how do we now fix that? Now, what we need to do is let's create a use layout effect. Now, how we are going to do it is we are going to be broadcasting a window event, a custom window event, which you can listen to for window dot add event listener. Then we are going to pass in the name. Let's just call it archive data. Then events, that's going to be ev, that's going to be custom event. Now I'm going to separate this component, the component that's going to list out that. I'm going to separate it into I'm I'm just going to call it extract component.csx. Yeah. Now, instead of listening for this event here, let's just listen for it inside this extract. Now, any component, if you are listening for this kind of event that is going to be broadcasted, that can be broadcasted anytime, and yeah, this component needs to be mounted. The component needs to be mounted, so that we are not going to need state management. If we are going to do that, we are going to need some states. Okay. This needs to be okay. Let's just import it. Let's import it. Extra components. So it needs to be mounted, so that this Windows event is going to be registered at the start of the application, because the user can request an extract, or like an extract anytime. Okay. Let's use Zustand. We are going to use Zustand state management. Let's use Zustand. If you are new to Zustand, you can just come back. It's a state management, and it is easier to use than Redux. And unlike Redux, it is mutable. Unlike Redux, it is very mutable. And because we are using TypeScript, let's just scroll down to this part, and let's just copy this. Then let's just create a new folder called shared. Then Zustand state.ts. Yeah, we don't need this, and we don't need these dev tools. Then we also don't need it to be persisted. Let's change this to use main stop. Then let's change this to, so that we are not going to be creating a function for each state. Let's create a state, then state data, then switch. Now let's just pass this in. Then let's fix the types. Let's create a new file called types.ts. Then export interface main state. Yeah. Now here we need to create a state main state. yeah, it's going to hold the extract the content. Then this is going to be string. Extract the content. Now let's, so that we can make the type more robust, export type t in state type. That's going to be extract content, this string, then set state. Let's come back to this place. States, then data, states. This is going to be any. Yeah, then we need to extend this type. No, interface. Yeah. Extract the content. Okay. Yeah. Then it's going to be state extract the content. Data. We need to export this. Use main store. Yeah. Now we need to move this back from here to the main component. Yeah, cool. Then const set state equal to use main store state dot set state. Then extract, then ev.detail. Yeah, now we've done that. Now let's go back to the WinRAR process. No, sorry, preload.ts. Now let's create a new file called functions. Is only going to have just one function, that's broadcast events. Then events, then data. Then that's now going to be window const custom event, that's new custom event, window dot dispatch event, that's the detail is going to contain the data that we want to send. Yeah. Then let's go back to preload.ts. Podcast events. The event that we are listening for here, which is archive data, then this data. Yeah, that's all. Then that data is going to be available. It's going to be available here. Now, let's come back to Zustand state. Extract the contents. Use main store state dot extract the contents. Now, if it is 0, yeah, display that, else display this. Now, in this place too, we need to do the same thing. Now let's see what we've done so far. Now I'm just going to reload a start component.csx. Okay, let's reload the server. I think that should fix it. Okay, yeah. Now, let's bind an on-click event. That's going to be window.electron. Yeah, click that. Then it's going to open this dialog box to select a zip file. Now, an archive file. Now let's select this because this is the first thing we've currently implemented. Now open. Let's check. Okay, yeah. As you can see, this is the content here, and also this is these are the things here. The content, these are all the contents. It has a lot of content. Yeah. Now I think we need to bind one. We need to make this a promise, so that we are going to notify the user in the front end, on the front end, that something is happening behind the scene. Wait dot invoke. Then in the main process, we're now going to change this to undo. Then now, if we do undo, then it means we have to return. We just need to return this data here. We are going to return this data. Return this. Now let's use that opportunity to undo zip files. To undo zip files, zip. Now for zip files, we are going to be using Adm-Zip. We've already installed it, and let's import the Adm-Zip. And let's install the type. Yeah. Now we are going to pass in the archive to it. Yeah. Then const content equal to dots get entries. This is going to return all the entries. Then dots map. We only need to return the path. Entry name. We need to return just the path. This entry name is going to be the path, the full name and path of the file. Yeah. And we can just return this. Now else dialog dot show error box. We need to tell the user that not supported. This archive file is not supported for extraction yet. Then return, let's just return false. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Then no, it needs to be in the structure too. It needs to be in the structure. It needs to be in the structure. Needs to be in the structure. Yeah. Or we can just remove this else. Yeah, cool. Now let's check what we've done. And we can also open the zip file. Okay. Let's undo it again. It's going to be return. Then yeah. Let's create a const undo open yeah. Then I'm going to call this there. Yeah. Then we can set states. Just pass. Instead of that, please, we're going to move it here. Then pass in the archive. If archive, because it can return false too, so that we are not going to set false to this data and it's going to crash the app. Now instead of this, we are just going to do this. Now let's create a state. loading extract set loading extract react dot use state false. And let's come to this place and let's copy some default one, neutral. Let's copy the neutral. Yeah, then let's give this div space x2. Then when nothing is happening, it's just going to be like this. Yeah, cool. Yeah, then this, I'll give it another color. Let's give it another color. Let's set it another color. Neutral. Info. Let's give it info. Yeah. Yeah. Now next thing is now we need this no yeah, let's remove the images. Now this is going to no. Okay, let's change because we are returning this type. Let's change the type to that. Let's change the types to this. Then this is going to be string. Then this is now going to be, or this is also going to be a string. And undefined. Now if it is undefined, show this here. Now extract file path here. Then it's going to be dot content dot map. We don't need these buttons. Since that is a string, it's just going to be all you need. That's all you need. Okay, let's check it out first. Because it's a lot of data, that's why it is like that. And we can lazy fetch it. We can fetch it lazily so that it's going to be faster. Yeah, let's delete this. Let us delete that. Then div. Okay. Yeah, is what I want to achieve. Now let's lazy fetch it. By default, the data is going to be okay. Let's set type. So it's going to be this by default. Let's show 50 data by default. Yeah. That's going to be more faster. Yeah, this is more faster. Now let's bind a school event const const Now let's do one calculation. If EV dot clients height. Okay. I'm just trying to do the calculation. Yeah. Yeah, if this 256 plus this, if the school top client height plus school top plus school top is greater than or equal to school height, then let's try that again. Yeah. Now, after scrolling to the bottom, let us slice. Let's create one ref. Data ref. That's going to be React dot use ref. Current data ref. Now set default data. Set default data is going to be I'm just going to slice out yeah, I think it's going to work. Yeah. I don't want to waste time. Content dot slice. Yeah. It's going to keep adding data to it, and then this has been memorized. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, it is adding in data, new 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 data. And actually this data you can be more constructive about it, like just display it as a route, like by clicking on route, show the next, show the files in that route, show the files and folders in that route, click on it, something like that. But for the sake of this tutorial and time, this is how we are going to be doing it. We are going to be viewing all the content like just like this. I'm going to be viewing the content like this. You can also add a search to it, like to search for items or something like that. Yeah, you can also add a search, but this is what we are going to be doing in this tutorial. Yeah, let me just remove the console.logs. Yeah. Is this going to work if I set it to 100%? Yeah, it works. Okay, now div, then button. Let's add a button here. Oh, this is where button is. Neutral. extract all. Yeah, and I'm also thinking of adding a checkbox. Yeah, this is checkbox. Let's add the checkbox. Let's add the checkbox here. Let's add name. Name is going to be extract archive. Then we can just wrap this around form. Instead of this, let it be form. Yeah. Yeah. All of them are selected by default. Then we can just yeah. Then you can select the ones that you don't want. You can check them off. You can select out the ones that you don't want. Yeah. And let's add some styles here. Extracts selected. Then this is going to be info or primary. Yeah. Let me give this. Yeah, nice. So we're going to use this zip as test because it is faster. Yeah. And just click on extractor. It's going to extractor, or it's going to extract selected extractor. Yeah. Now let's remove the background. Okay, I think I added background color of red somewhere. Okay, yeah. Now clicking on this extract selected, okay, then this, then let's pass in the name of the inputs select checkbox 6, then dot let's filter first, check dots, okay, into this checked, then dot map, check dots value. Yeah, now it's going to filter out and select only the checked boxes. Now let's come back to this place and add a new item, which is going to be handle extracts. File paths, then content to extract. Yeah, then it's going to be the same thing, except we are going to pass in the file paths and content to extract. You can just pass the both of them as an object, so like this, or just pass them like this. Then we need to change this, which is going to be extract archive. Yeah, let's go to the main process, then ipc main dot handle extract archive, then events, then let's come back to preload. Both of them are string. Then yeah, the type is correct. I just checked for the type if it is correct. Yeah, now the same thing, the same kind of check that we did here is going to be the same thing that we are going to do here. Actually, the same thing that we did is just going to be the same thing. Yeah, then now we are going to bring up const destination there. That's going to be dialog dot show save dialog sync. browser window dot from web content ev dot sender. Okay, yeah. Now this is going to return a string, the name of the directory, or no, sorry, the directory that was selected, and if a folder was created, it's going to return the name of the folder. Yeah. Then decompress, then passing the destination dar to it. That's all. Then now we need to open the file that we just extracted. We need to open it in the user's file explorer. So that's going to be show item in folder, then the full path, which is going to be destination dar. Now this also works the same way, except that now these are contents filter file dot path dot includes file dot path. Now get entries dot for each entry. Now if content dot includes entry dot entry name, then that's when we are now going to Adm-Zip dot extract entry to, then destination dar. Yeah. Then we also need to do the same thing. Shell dot show let's check the preload. Okay, then let's go back to this place. And the extract, then file path. The file path is file path. Then I need to clear it. Let me clear the state. I set it to an empty string, an empty array. And click this. Now I want to extract all. Okay, I want to extract all to let input equal to if not all. Then set input to this. That's not going to be under extract. Under extracts. What am I doing? Yeah, cool. Now let's test it out. Now this is the current folder. This is the current folder now. And this is where we are also going to be extracting this content, this stuff too. Let's do that. Open. Then let's select some items. Let's remove semi-bold, medium, extra light. Let's only include just one file. Yeah, just one file in this static directories, just for testing. Now extract selected. Oh, okay, sorry. Let us reload the server. You can actually reload the server by typing rs in the server, in the running server. Now let's do it again. Yeah. $17. Okay, let me log. Let's log it. Okay. Radio node list. if it is checked, then if it is checked, let's reset the array here. Okay, so yeah, I think this makes sense. Yeah, it's going to work now. Yeah, as you can see, it brings up this save dialog. Now let's give it a name. Let's give it Google Fonts. As you can see, after it's saved, it automatically opened this native file explorer, and it is showing this the file that we just extracted, and it is now showing it. As you can see, now let's open the static. This static only contains just this one file that we selected in this static. So that means the file selection is working. And if we extract it manually, you see that if you go to the static, you see that it contains all this. Yeah. Now we've built our own file extractor that is going to give us the ability to be able to select the files that we want before extracting them. Yep. Wait, there's slice. Oh, sorry. No. Undefined. Yes, undefined. Or I think we should not. Don't let us. We should not close it automatically, so that in case the user wants to like do other things, so you can just manually close it here. Let's add a button. Cancel. Then this is now going to have something like undo cancel. Yeah, then set states. This okay, undefined. Yeah. First of all, no, let's set it to undefined. It's going to automatically clear all the data in this state and set it to undefined. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I think we are done with let's just try it. Let's test it one more time. Extract selected. this time around, let's remove this. It's not selected. Then okay, wait, let's cancel extractor. As you can see, like we all Google fonts. We currently checked off some items here. So save all Google fonts. Yeah. As you can see, everything went. Yeah. It's working. And everything is still here in case we want to do other things. And then we can do cancel, which is now going to cancel everything. Then the button, where is the button? This is the button here. Let's just give it error. Button error. Is an error. Now the last part is Decompress. For Decompress, we are going to need a drop down. Yeah, we need this drop down. Let's copy it and let's create a new component called, it's just going to be like this. So okay, wait, let's create a new component. Let's create the component first. The button is also going to have the same style, between neutral. Extract content. No. Compress. Tar or file. Then now we are now going to list out the type of the different types, which are these tar files, tar file, gzip file, tgz file, then zip file. Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, then we can select anything that we want, maybe like this or this or this. Now we're now going to open dialog again. Open compress, open compress dialog. So you can give it type tar or gzip or tgz or zip. Gzip, tgz, zip. Yeah. Now next thing is, let's come to this place, then open compress file dialog. Just the same way. Now ipc main dot undo. So the flow is going to be like this. Except that it's not going to have that, and this is going to be either open or open directory. So we can compress a single file or a directory. Now if something is, if archive was selected, then if archive was selected, yeah, so we are going to use fs to list out the directory content and then send them to the front end, so that the user is going to be able to like select which files they want to compress. Yeah. Then that's going to be fs dot read the sync, then path, which is going to be okay, let's add one more option. Then yeah, then let's log it console.log quickly, else return false. Yeah, so this is going to return response back to the preload.ts, which will then return the response back to the calling function here. Now open compress file dialog, then I'll wait, sync. Here. Yeah, cool. Now let's check out. In fact, we don't even need this yet, but we are going to come back to this file type. Now let's load the server. Then compress star of file. Let's just select zip. Then let's select this Google font. We are going to compress the Google font back. Here now, you see, yeah. Now let's go back to the main process, then files. Let's see what we got here. The name, the parent part, then the path. So we are going to be returning full path. Full path, that's going to be path.join dot parent path, then no file dot name, then is star. Let's check if it is a directory as file dot is directory. Yeah. Now we are going to return files. Yeah, that's all. Okay, come back here. We are just going to, let's create a state. Let's come to types, then create a state. It's going to be content of file compress star content. Let's come back to this place. Then it's going to be full path, then is star. Just these two things here. Full path star. Export type T. Compress star content or item. This is going to be a string, then this is going to be a boolean. Yeah, let's say this an array. Yeah, then let's add a case for it. Yeah, that's all. Then coming back to the main process, yeah, then if there to compress. That is, if it is not false, then let's use set state. Compress that content. Then let's set it to this data. Yeah. Then now we also need to set the file type. I don't know how we are going to set the file type. Okay. Let's go back to this type. Then instead of this, it's going to be an object. Then it's going to be undefined by default. Items. Then the file type string. You can just call it this. Export type, you can set it to that, or export type compress file types. Yeah, this is it. By default, it's going to be undefined. Then file type, then items. Yeah, cool. Now compress star content. If not compress that content, that is, if we've not selected any item, show this. Then the compress stuff here is just going to be the same thing as what we did here. So you can just copy it, then paste it here. Let's come here, then copy this. Just going to replace everything. Items. Okay, let's stringify it. It's going to be a stringify data, and then start. Items. The type is going to be Decompress. Item dot part. Okay, JSON dot stringify. We are going to change this to good star. Then let's come back to this type. Then in the main process, let's pass in the good star. Yeah, that's it. Good star. Compress good star. Now we don't want to include directories in the list. We just want the user to select the files that they want to include, or yes, to be able to select only the files, not directories. Dot filter. You can actually add more. You can actually make it more sophisticated by adding like the option for users to be able to check and uncheck directories. Let me give this data dot star, not data dot star. So we are going to filter out the items that are not directory. Yeah, directories. I think now undo extract, undo compress. Yeah, extract selected, compress all, compress selected, cancel. And the cancel is going to be just going to set it to undefined. Yeah, now let's undo the compress. But first of all, before doing that, let's check out what we've done so far. Compress a zip file. Okay, cannot the property of file path, extract. Okay. It's supposed to be compress components. That's where the issue is. Yeah. Now we just need to remove this padding. Zip. Yeah. Now wait, what did you select? Oh, okay. We missed something. Main. We need to set it to recursive to, so that it's going to fetch all the items, all the the content of the directory recursively. Yeah. Now these are all the files excluding directories. Yeah, then we can select the ones that we want, and yeah, that's it. Now let's move on to the next thing. The next thing is now going to be actually doing the real compression. Extract archive. Let's change it to compress archive. Yeah. Now let's uncomment this, then move to undo compress. Let's undo it. Preload.ts, undo compress. Now there's one thing that we are missing here. Let's just add this, undo compress star, then the directory. Okay, let's come back to this file type and assign this a type. C compress star content. Yeah. Yeah, then preload.ts, you can just pass in data, then just pass in the data here. Then this is now going to just be items, going to be deselected, then the root star is going to be then the last one is going to be file type. Yeah. Then one more thing that we missed there is we need to do something like this. Then we are going to call this loading directory to compress instead of loading extract, loading compress. You can call it anything, but I don't know what else to call it. Just going to be do false. Yeah, that's that. Then now let's do the actual compression. Compress star. Let's move to the main.ts. And let's undo it ipc main.undo. Then event, then data, which is c compress. Okay. Yeah. Now we need to show save dialog so that the user is going to select the directory that they want to save the compressed file to, and the name of the name of the compressed file. They are also going to select the name of the compressed file. Yeah. Now if data dot file type, if it is zip, now we need compressing. Let's just import it above here. Import compressing from compressing. Then compressing dot zip. or we can actually just do it this way. .zip, or instead of, but there's an exception, because the way there's something that works differently here. Yeah, gzip works differently because it can only compress a single file. It can only compress a single file. It can only compress a single file. So we need to undo that too. And because of that, we are also going to set something here. If we need to check if the particular selected item, if it is a file or a directory. Start equal to first dot start sync. Yeah, there now. Let's files. Now if it is a directory, then do this. Else, then files is going to be okay. Let's give it one more stuff. Target item, no, base item is that 2. Let's go back to this place. Then yeah, that's how it's going to work. Yeah, then back to this thing. This is going to set base. Then let's just copy everything there. Then start. This is just going to be like this. Then this does not need that. Then yeah, we need to make this to this item, then would start. Then items, files. this does not have any items. Would start. Yeah, then we also need to undo that here. If the compress tag, if it is a file, it's just going to display a single it is directory. Then this item is that this needs to be disabled. If not, this item is that. Then the types, I think the types is items, file type. Yeah, file type, yeah. Bootstrap is item. Okay, yeah. We need to set these three. This three needs to be set from this main process. Then this file type is going to be set from the front end here. Yeah, we're on track. Now after getting back to this place, we're now going to check if file type is not equal to gzip. It's not equal to gzip. Yeah. If it is not equal to gzip, then we are going to do this dot compress that. Or we can just use compress file. We can just loop through data dot items, then dot for each. Yeah. Then we are going to compress. Then destination directory. Yeah, we are going to compress each of the files. This is a promise. Then because that is a promise, we need to wait. Then always promise dot all. Then data dot map. Then we can just return it like that. Promise.all data.map compress. Now else. I think we need to check if it is a directory. If that's when we are going to do this. Else, if it is a file, we can just compress the root dar in this case is going to be the file that we selected, then destination. Now, because this is a single file, because this is going to be a single file, the gzip is also going to work automatically. Yeah. Now, if it is a directory, we only want to compress it. If it is not a gzip, we need to filter out files, directories. We need to filter out directories. Not star. Yeah. So this is the reason why I'm doing it this way instead of just calling compress dar is because this is going to allow us to be able to implement like selecting the items or the files that you want to compress within a directory, like selectively compressing a file or compressing a directory. Yeah. And I think this is all. If I'm not missing anything else, this should work now. Then come back here, compress. I think we need to create one state. React dot use states. Yeah, disabled. We are going to disable all the buttons. Disabled compressing or compressing. This one is going to be disabled. We don't want to be able to cancel while compressing. Then let's display something here. Compressing to dot file type. So if it is a zip, it's going to be compressing to zip. Text center. No. Yeah, let's add a loading button. This is going to be, let's use this. Yeah, let's come back. Now, because we've updated the main process, let's reload the server. Let's compress to zip. Loading directory to compress. Then let's compress that. How is it doing that way? Okay, let's just use this infinity. Let's use the infinity. Then that should only be displayed. Let's add another thing again. Disabled compressing. It's going to be disabled when we're compressing. Yeah. Then compress selected. Now we can always, let's remove the DS store. OFL. Then readme inside. Yeah. Let's remove the readme. Then compress selected. All cool Google. No, okay, no. Selected cool Google fonts. Should be inside the archives. Yeah, save. Now it has saved. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Okay, let's change the extension .zip. Yeah, as you can see, actually it is working. Let's try to unzip it. Okay, it means something is wrong. Now let's fix whatever is wrong with it. Then also we also need to open it. Shell dots show item in folder. If not tester, that means the user cancelled. The user cancelled the pop-up. Now let's see what is happening. Let's check the documentation again. Okay. Extension tar is going to be dot tar. Then tgz is going to be tar.gz. gzip, I don't know the extension of gzip. Gzip, then zip. Let's do the same here. Okay, this is going to be gz. I think we can continue now. Yeah. I think that is what is actually wrong. if we are not doing anything right, then, or if we are not doing anything wrong, then it should work now. Decompress.zip. I forgot to add dots here. Let's check it. It says it is empty. Okay, what we're supposed to use is the stream. Sorry, we're supposed to use the stream. I think we are still going to need this. Then let's move this. Let's comment this out. Then stream as I don't want to be debugging that. Gzip. Yeah. Task stream is going to be Adm-3, which is going to be item.fullPath. Then task stream dot pipe the destination stream. No. Let's move all of these out. Okay, this is going to loop through all of them, add the entries to this task stream. Then after that, it's going to create this write stream. Then it's now going to pipe this destination stream to the stream. Let's call it archive stream, because it's not actually a particular type. Then this is actually what we want to show. Now this is still going to work the same way. Yeah, I think this should work like that. Yeah, cool. Then compress selected. Tests archive 1. Yeah, it worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. But maybe I think it did not add any folder. Okay, I've finally found what was actually wrong, and what I needed to do was to add this relative part. This relative part is going to set the path of this file that I'm adding. It's going to set the path in the inside the generated archive file. So what I did was the archive stream. I created the stream, then I looped through all the files and filtered out the folders. Then I passed in the relative path. I set the relative path for the file by just replacing the root directory from the full with an empty string in the full part, like in the full part of the file. Then I created a write stream. Then I passed in the destination of the destination, the file destination of the file. Then I piped the archive stream to the destination. Then I listened for unclosed events. Then I passed in this show item in folder, so that it's going to show the item in the folder after when it is done. Yeah. Now let's check it out again. And zip file. Now let's convert this to zip file. Let's test the compress all. Yeah, all compressed. Now we can test it, and you see that everything is there. Then let's delete it. Let's delete it. Then now let's test this by let's remove the store ofl.text. Yeah. Then compress selected. Inside archives, yes. Okay, it seems there's an error here. Okay, let's see what happens. I think there's this is the store static. Okay. Item of full parts. Oh, if not checked, if it is not checked, let's try that again. Then let's delete our file. Selected compress, move to bin. Let's test it again. Yeah, remove the store, remove OFL, then compress. Archive, select. Yeah, as you can see, those items that we ignored or unchecked, they were not added. Now we've built an app that allows us to choose the files that we want to be added to the compressed, like the compressed zip file or archive file, and it also allows us to select the kind of the files that we want to be added to the extracted folder, like the files that we want to be extracted. Like, we can select the files that we want to be extracted, and we can also select the files that we want to compress in a particular folder. Yeah. One last test. Okay, let's test tar.gz file. Let's compress this. Compressor. Yeah, as you can see, it still works. It works. Yeah, and let's try a single compression. Let's compress this ofl.txt file. Open. Yeah, let's compress it. Yeah, as you can see, that's been compressed. Yeah, the file was compressed, and this is the file. I think let's improve the UI a bit. Let's improve the UI a bit. If it is single, yeah. And let's check that out. Let's just choose zip. Then let's compress. Let's try to select the OFL file again. Yeah, as you can see, then we can just add h100%. Let's add a div. Let's wrap it in a div. Then flex item center, justify center. Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, Now we've come to the end of the tutorial. Everything is working fine, and actually you can actually use this file. You can be using this file on your computer, like locally on your computer, to do things like extracting things like um if you want to like select some items, you want to preview the file that you want to extract and select the items that you want to extract from it before actually extracting it. Because on Mac now, the only extraction that comes with Mac, as far as I know, is double clicking or just saying I don't think there's any other okay, I think this one, yeah, if I double click it, this is going to use the archive utility to automatically extract it, and this is going to extract everything at once. But now using this software that we just built now, is going to give us the option of selecting the files that we want to be extracted, and also we will also be able to we will also be able to specify the file, like the folder name, and also here too is we will be able to like select the files that we want to compress, and also specify the um the compressed file name. Yeah, like for example, now if I want to compress this on Mac, it's going to it's going to I'm going to click on this, and it's going to just compress everything at same everything without giving me the option of selecting some files that I want to compress or not. So this software is very useful. It's very useful. Yeah, we've come to the end of the tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please give the thumb up on my YouTube channel, and all the resources, the lesson files, and all the code that I wrote, and all the links that I opened in this tutorial are going to be available in the description of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It motivates me to do more tutorials like this. And yeah, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe again. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.